Right now on CBS 12 News this morning, the Condo Collapse rescue mission moves into day 3. The search is on for more than 100 people.
With this type of collapse, it's very extremely difficult.
A building that once stood 12 stories tall has now become a deadly disaster area.
Just wait. That's all there is to do is wait.
Hundreds of families desperately waiting for updates as first responders search for signs of life.
And we're continuing to track rounds of showers and storms along Florida's East Coast. How today's activity could impact the rescuers at the building collapse today and beyond. Break it all down for you. CBS 12 News this morning. It starts now.
You're watching CBS 12 News this morning.
This Saturday morning, we're continuing coverage from Surfside. Good morning, I'm Denise Sawyer. Right now, crews are working around the clock, looking for missing victims who may be trapped beneath the rubble. Now, our team is in place. Meteorologist Zach Covey is standing by, tracking how rain could impact rescue efforts. But we start with my co-anchor, Terry Hornstein, who's live right now by the collapse. Terry, good morning. What are you seeing at the moment?
I do want to first point out the building behind me. I just want to step out for 1 second so my photographer can zoom in here. I want to show you it's the building behind this big one we're talking about. It's the 12-story building behind there. That's the building that half of it, or about 2/3, collapsed in this tragedy. So what we know this morning at this time is 4 people have been confirmed dead. 3 of those people were pulled out of the rubble. The first person who we know was pulled out that first day. She was taken to the hospital. She was alive. That woman, 54-year-old Stacy Fang, but she died in the hospital. We also saw miraculous video of her 15-year-old son. He was also pulled out of the building. He is alive at this time, but now no longer with a mother. And we know search crews have been out here working around the clock, working 12-hour shifts, trying to find anyone still alive. And at this hour, 159 people still unaccounted for. And late last night, we heard from the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue chief, who he said because of the way this building collapsed, it really is a difficult effort to find anyone.
What we're looking for is areas of voids, possible patient survivability, and that's where we're focusing. As this equipment comes in, we'll use it to assist to move certain pieces of debris. We can't just move it all at one time. It has to be very slow processes where we're digging through, searching, shoring up certain areas, other aspects.
And it is a slow process. You know, we've seen the families get frustrated by this process. Some of the families even saying they want to go in, they want to help, but the problem is you have to think about this here. It's a very careful, methodical process. They want to make sure they don't disturb too much. They want to make sure they have structural engineers on the site here. They want to make sure the rest of the building doesn't come out. So those families just really having to wait, really in agony at this time. And also, we started to see a memorial come together. We've seen flowers on that memorial, candles out there. We've also seen pictures of the people, those 159 people who are still missing, still unaccounted for at this hour. And last night we spoke to a woman whose mother was inside the building at the time of the collapse, and listen to what she has to say about how she's feeling right now.
If they say that the search and rescue continues, I guess there's still hope. I think I'm trying to brace myself for the worst and the best, and it's really hard. Just not knowing is just the worst part.
And you really have to feel for these families. You know, so many of them out here, friends, families, just wanting more information, just desperate for any information. And we know we've had 2 briefings from law enforcement, the mayor, twice a day, giving us those updates of those numbers. So we are working to wait to hear the latest update. But listen to this. If you need information, if you have information, if you have located your loved one or want more information, I want to pull up the number for you here on your screen. The number you can call at this time is 305-614-1819, and a very important number for those family and friends who are still looking for more information, trying to find out what they can about what happened here. Denise.
Terry, now I know that there's a $5 million lawsuit filed against that condominium association just hours after that collapse. What details do you have?
Yeah, Denise, again, that lawsuit filed yesterday for $5 million by one of the people who lived in the Champlain South Towers. And that lawsuit alleges a defect in this building and holds the building, the condo association, responsible. Says they knew there were issues with the building and they didn't do enough to protect their people. I'm sure in the coming days we'll hear much more on that lawsuit. We have not heard back from the condo association, from the building yet, but of course, as we learn more about this, Denise, in the next couple of days, we will bring all of our viewers the latest information on it.
And Terry, our newsroom has been looking into the background of that condo, which we've discovered some red flags. Many residents have said that there were concerns there. What can you tell us?
So we do know this building was put up in 1981. It's a 40-year-old building, and right now it was going under a recertification process, going through that process. So we know there were contractors in and out of the building. Also, some roof work was being done, but the contractors didn't warn of any problems here. But we did find out, a study that FIU did, this building had been sinking 2 millimeters a year. So CBS 12 talked to some architects, and those architects basically said that if the building was sinking at an uneven rate, this could have caused very major problems. It could have contributed to the fact, especially with the weight from the work on the roof as well. So it's going to take months to find out what exactly caused this building to go down. And of course, the focus right now on those search and rescue and recovery efforts.
I'm thinking we're racing against the clock because the rest of the building is going to come down. I realized that when I opened the door, and then what I'm thinking is, if I start to feel something come down, how do I jump on my daughter to save her?
So scary listening to people who were able to escape, who survived this collapse. Now, we know there were 55 units that went down. Again, 159 people still unaccounted for, and you just can't even imagine what these families and friends are going through this morning. Of course, we're going to be out here all morning long, working to find out new information from law enforcement. And as soon as we know when that next briefing with the latest updates will be, of course, we'll let you know that as well.
All right, thank you, Terry. Now, Surfside is such a small beach town with a population of about 6,000 people, so I'm sure that close-knit community there are all devastated. Now, we'll check in with Terry throughout the morning. We now know that this is a very tough time for people, and the Health Channel is offering free counseling for those impacted by the collapse in Surfside. So you can log onto the website, which you see at the bottom of your screen, and you can speak to a live counselor. We're posting updates, live updates to this story at CBS12.com. You can also download our app. Now, turning to weather, Zach, will the weather play an important role today as they continue this rescue mission?
Well, yeah, obviously you want drier conditions to at least allow rescuers not to have to battle Mother Nature. If there's lightning out there and plenty of pieces of rebar that can act as lightning rods. That's what we see on many skyscrapers in New York City or even downtown Miami. So we don't want the rescuers out there in lightning, so we're hoping that we won't see any more shower and storm activity. Unfortunately, though, a live look here at Miami Beach, this is just about 10 blocks from where the building collapse is, and we're already starting to see, and in fact, here you go, this huge downpour. So just about 10 blocks from where the building collapse is, we've got this huge shower, and you're watching this in real time now move on shore. It's to the point where you can't even see beyond this shower as it's rolling on shore. So what shower are we talking about? We're talking about that one right there, just about to pull on shore. But again, like I said, we are about 10, 15 blocks south from the actual building collapse itself. So we don't need to worry about that shower right now. We're going to continue to look out to the east. We've got another one about 20 miles offshore at this point in time. We'll track that. Hopefully that doesn't impact the building collapse and rescuers' efforts. We're also tracking numerous showers across our area. For the most part, they remain offshore. We continue to watch the Treasure Coast between Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, along the Barrier Island chain for a couple of those isolated showers. Then a few isolated showers from Boynton Beach Boulevard south through the Atlantic Boulevard area. Atlantic Ave, I should say, not Boulevard, there in Delray Beach. So temperatures today in the 80s with those scattered showers and storms. Denise, I will time everything out coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thank you. Coming up, a massive manhunt comes to an end. What we are learning about the suspect who shot a Daytona Beach officer in the head. Plus, Derek Chauvin gets 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd. What led to the sentencing?